To complete this technology assignment, we need to take the information that we just put into this table and to put it into your shared Google Sheets document. So go to your Google Drive and find the file here, the Sheets file. This is a Sheets file. This one's called P1 Group 0. Yours will be something like P1 Group whatever you've been assigned to. Now, if you don't see it right there in My Drive, you might have to go over to Incoming. It may be sitting there. But once you find it, go ahead and open it. And there should be a tab that says Team Members on it, and you should find your name among the team members here. I've just got student 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, find your name. I'm going to put mine under student 1. And the company, I'm going to put Verizon. And then the stock ticker, VZ. So as soon as you put that in there, all of your other teammates will be able to see what you're doing because this updates almost instantly. So now we're going to go ahead, we're going to put that data into a spreadsheet, and then we're going to create a graph of it. So go out down to where you see the plus here, and there's the new sheet, and let's give it a name. So double click on it, and I'm going to call this data space VZ. So right away we know this is where you're putting your data, and we know it's Verizon, so we know whose company this is for. So we're going to have to go ahead and type in all of the headings that we saw and that information about the quarters. So across the top, I'll put quarter, years since 1/1/2013. Now, when I do this, you notice how it kind of overlaps here? I can fix that if I click on it and then go up to where I see Format and tell it to wrap the text. And that fits it all inside of that box. I can also come up here and make this wider, but sometimes I'll make it wider, sometimes I'll just go ahead and wrap it. All right, this next column heading is the price at the end of the quarter. Again, that one I'm going to wrap, so I'll select the cell, say Format, Wrap Text. Then we have trailing 4 quarters earnings. Same thing happens there, so I'll hit Format, Wrap Text, and then the quarterly earnings per share. I'll wrap that one also. And then finally, P/E for P to E ratio. Now I'll go ahead and fill in my quarters. So quarter 1, Q1, 2013, and I'll go ahead and continue this. All right, so I've got that all filled in, and now I'm going to go ahead and do the years since January 1st, 2013. So this one would be 0.25. The next one would be 0.5. And now I know that these are all separated by 0.25. Here's a little trick that you can do. If you click on the 0.25 and holding the mouse down, you drag to the next one. You see that little box right there? That's called a fill handle. And if I click on that and drag it down, it will fill in the rest of that column with that pattern. So it started at 0.25 and was increasing by 0.25 every time. It goes ahead and it fills that in. All right, so now let's go ahead and put our prices in. So remember here we had 49.14, 47.57, 48.93, and let's see, 49, 0.99. Next, we did the quarterly earnings per share, and let's put those in. All right, that looks pretty good. Now, once we've got our quarterly earnings per share, now we need to do our trailing 4 quarters. So let's go down to here. So that is in cell D8. And what I need to do is put in that cell the sum of what is in E8, E7, E6, and E5. So I want it to calculate that for me, so I verify what I did earlier was correct. So I'll start by typing equals, and you'll see that appears up here on this menu bar. And now I'm going to click on the things that I want to add. So that number plus that number plus that number plus that number. Notice as I put them in, it's going ahead and typing in the locations, so the things that are in E8 all the way down to E5. Now when I hit enter, it should calculate and get the same number I had before. I need to repeat that for these other 3 cells, but here's a cool little thing. If I click on that, grab the fill bar and stretch it up, it will do it for me. Basically what it's going to do is when I go to the next cell, it's going to say, oh, what he wants to do is add what's here and then the 3 above it together. When I go to here, it's that cell and the 3 above it. And then finally that cell is that and the 3 above it. And I get the exact same numbers I had before. I can also do that when I calculate the PE ratio. So let me go over to F5. And what I need to do is I need to divide the price at the end of the quarter by the trailing 4 quarter of earnings. So it's a calculation, so I start with equals, click on the 49.14, press the slash on the keyboard, and now the 4.01. And you'll see it says C5, so C5 divided by D5. And nicely, everything is color-coded here. Hit enter, and there's the 12.25 that I got before, and it's got the rest of the decimals. If I want to fill in the rest of this, I'm going to go ahead and just stretch this down. And those are the exact same numbers I had before. So isn't that cool? We didn't have to do nearly as much work if we had started with this spreadsheet to begin with.